French view, I thought from all the matches we've seen, this was the best match with regards to football of the tournament.
Arguably, yes. Normally, before we've sat and watched England at elite level, late on World Cup 4 years ago, Croatia, semi-final, outplayed, outthought as the game went on. And I kind of think as tournaments have evolved, that's where they've been against the better teams, but not today. Yeah, they'll be licking their wounds. They lost the game and it's all about results. But France, in my opinion, can find themselves pretty fortunate to get that. I thought England, after a not rocky start, but, not able to control the French quick passing, particularly on the right side, not the left with Mbappe, the right with Dembele playing around Shaw. Once they got control of that, I felt England dominated the game. They worked Hugo Lloris. They never panicked. They created chances. Upamecano got rolled on 2 or 3 occasions. Could have cost them. It didn't. And I thought England, bar the result and maybe 1 or 2 of the finishes, and obviously the penalty, I thought England actually put on a really, really good performance, but they're out.
Proper match this, wasn't it?
2 big boys. 2 really big boys. Not pretend big boys, but 2 really big boys in the middle of the ring going at it. Now, one team better at times, the other team better than others, but what you had was 2 teams getting after each other with high quality, with elite level of execution, with tough decisions for the referee, with quality of execution at times with the passing and the final touch. There was everything and anything that you want from a game of this magnitude. That looked like a quarterfinal. In fact, we can only hope that the final of this tournament lives up to what England against France was in the quarterfinals.
All right, do I start with France or England? I suppose let's start with France, as they're the winner. Oh, Frank Leboeuf, late. Thanks for turning up, Frank. How did you see it?
Well, I have to agree with the guy. I think it was a great game to watch. Even if in both sides it wasn't perfect, I think England are mostly more control of the ball and the game, overall. And France can be, of course, fortunate to go through. It would have been a different matter if maybe end of the game if Harry Kane would have scored his second pen. But that's what it is. Football is about details, and I know that Hugo Lloris has been very much criticized by the British or English newspapers. I think he gave a right answer that he's still a top-notch goalkeeper and did what they had to do today to save like 6 times the French goal. So everything was not perfect, but I enjoyed the game because he went from a side to another side. Any team could have won that game, and he went on the French side. But let's say I'm happy, but I will be very humble with that win.
Wow, the word is humble, Macca, in case you didn't pick that up in England. We didn't know that was in Frank's lexicon.
Frank humble, no chance.
Hey, Macca, a weird kind of feeling from an English perspective because they left pretty much everything out there on the pitch, which in other tournaments you can argue they didn't.
I totally agree, mate, and I agree with what Craig said. I thought, 4 years ago against Croatia, we had question marks after the performance. Even in the final in the Euros, I had question marks about the performance. I didn't today. I thought he played really well, particularly in the second half. And as Frank said, in these games, there's just small details. That's all it is that separate one team from the other. I thought it was the best quarter-final we've seen. I thought these 2 teams were really standout sides, actually. It was a pity that one had to lose, but I think the English players can go away from this tournament with their heads held high. I thought it was a really good performance, even though they got knocked out in the quarter-finals. They went out to a really good team and they went out playing really well. And I think, Gareth playing 4 at the back and putting more creative players on, I thought they acquitted themselves really well. So no complaints. Of course, they've gone out and it's upsetting to a certain extent. But the way they played, I thought, they did themselves proud.
Who needs Kareem the Dream, Jules?
You always need Kareem the Dream.
No, I don't think you do.
Well, I mean, what a game. Well, what a game, to be fair, to be watching here. You could feel the tension around the stadium between the fans. I agree with the boys, everything the boys said. I think those games come down to thin margin. This is not the best team that won tonight. England were the better side. I don't think there's any argument about that. There's no debate. But France have that killer instinct. They've got that belief all the time that if you don't pull your chances, we will take one, we will have just one, and we will score it. And Giroud had one. just before the goal, where Pickford made a good save, a save that you expect Pickford to make. But then Giroud spoke after the game and said, I was praying God that he give me another chance. And the second chance came straight after on that wonderful ball by Griezmann, who had a masterclass today. I think when you've got a player like that, whatever team you are, if you have a player like Antoine Griezmann in your team, especially now that he plays in that much more deeper role in midfield, and he can control games like that, he can have such an impact on the game, then you have a good chance of winning a game like this.
I think there's no doubt.